But we don't show prep, so so he had no idea.
I just barely make it in.
I'm sure you can tell, but we don't show.
I mean, let's put the cards down on the table here.
Illustrious. Like your style.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy, ha ha. It's a 6-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real Portland live from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the 6-ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards, a hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6 Rings Kane show. You know.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the 6 Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
What's up, everybody? Late night edition of 6 Rings Canes here, and it wasn't my fault.
I mean, look, we don't need to name names or point fingers or do anything like that. I don't know. I don't see how that's useful. It seems counterproductive to me. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
It ain't my fault.
Look, whose fault it is not. Whoever.
It's irrelevant, right? It doesn't matter.
Not important.
Not important. Oh man, what's going on?
It's not hypocritical for me to rail about Mario's clock management and then show up almost an hour late to the show. That's.
I mean, hey, listen.
Water under the bridge.
What are you gonna do? That's all right. It's all forgiven already. We're done. We're good. Welcome back. We've got wide receivers, tight ends, and offensive linemen today. I know myself and Blue got a couple of things that we got to handle today a little later tonight, so we're gonna get things going real quick. Blue, before we can
hold off. DJ and I can, since you guys got to drop a little earlier, DJ and I can cover the tight ends after you leave. I mean, that's DJ's show anyway. So
who else better to ask to do the tight ends than me?
So maybe we'll do wide receivers and O-line, then you guys can get out of here and we'll cover tight ends after.
Although I will say this, Elijah Lofton. All right, that's my sleeper tight end.
I mean, we already covered him on running backs, so
I know, right? He's just like everywhere.
Get to kickers. You know what? When we get to kickers, like in case Morgales goes down, Elijah Lofton.
He's probably a pretty good kicker too, right? Oh man, that would be something else. You want to get it going with wide receivers first, Vish? I think that's it's been a topic of conversation for quite a while. I know the running theme was for a little bit this offseason was, do we have that number one guy, that guy that's gonna come in and do what a Charleston Rambo did a few years back, right? I know Blue mentioned that last week as well. Well, we've all mentioned it ad nauseum at this point on these shows, but it's true, right? We've got a guy like Restrepo who's obviously, considered one of the top tier wide receivers in the country. However, he's not that take the top off the defense, Marvin Harrison type, right? He's your slot guy that is going to be reliable. He's going to catch you a ton of balls. He's got great hands. He runs really good routes. He's not slow. I'm not saying he's slow. He's quick, right? He gets open when others can't get open. He finds a way to get things done. And you need that guy, right? That's your old reliable, which is very important in this offense as well. You got to have a guy that you can always find that's going to be open. But do you have that guy that's going to take the top off the defense? You're going to be able to throw, a go, just let it go, let it fly, and he's going to go over there and make a play. He's going to, in the red zone, you're going to be able to throw a fade route to him, and he's going to jump over everybody and just snatch the ball, right? Things like that, on a tough third and long. Is he the guy that's going to break for, a post for a touchdown, for a 50-yard touchdown throw, right? That's the kind of guy that we're potentially could be missing here. Now you got a guy that came in the transfer portal. You have some development of some other players, and you got one of the top wide receivers in the country, recruit-wise, that's coming in as well. So we've got a lot of receivers in that room right now. I want to start off with you, Vish, first, because the wide receiver, it's an important position in this offense, particularly the way Shannon Dawson likes to run things. You've got obviously one of the top quarterbacks in the country now. So how does this wide receiver room shape up for you? Who do you think is that guy that can kind of break out and be that number one guy, so on and so forth?
Yeah, I think we're hoping Jacoby George is consistent. He's shown at times that ability, and then at other times it's kind of not been as focused as you'd like, and had some maturity issues. But then playing Florida State, which is the best team we played last year, and he's potentially the best player on the field, that is saying something. So yeah, I think he's the guy I'm looking to step up as kind of the top guy. Although I will say again, you led with him. Restrepo probably going to be the most productive guy overall, but not someone that they're necessarily going to roll defensive coverage to take away. I think Jacoby's that guy. I could name others, but I'm going to leave some. There's an incoming player I think we're all excited for, but I already said Jacoby, so I will not mention the names. That way Blue and DJ can get in there, but I'm assuming they will mention the guy I'm talking about. And as Jazz is on mute,
Blue, go ahead and mention the guy.
Who's Samuel Brown or Josiah Trader?
It's clearly
Night Carr.
I was going with JoJo, but anyway.
Well, Night Carr comes in probably just as decorated. But Josiah, definitely Samuel Brown, I think, brings a lot of experience and probably could be that it factor. Knows the offense, runs it very well. Yeah, I like to see a little bit more from Robbie Washington this year. Like to see a little bit more from Ray Joseph. And you never know about Jacoby George. He just hasn't really been consistent, and now he's a senior. So, but kid, I think that could really make a difference this year is Samuel Brown. Experienced, knows the offense.
Yeah, I think that's the guy that I was thinking about. Sam Brown coming from Houston, was obviously one of, if not the number one guy over in Houston for a little bit. Also understands this offense, has played under Coach Dawson before when Dawson was at Houston a couple years ago as well. So I think that he's going to come in right away, not have to really learn this offense per se, right? He knows it. He knows Dawson. He knows Coach Dawson. He understands what is going to be asked of him on this offense. And I think that, he comes in and puts his foot down and makes his mark as the number one receiver right off the bat. So I think pretty excited. I don't know what happened to Blue there. He disappeared, but I know he had to go soon, but I don't think that's why he left. But I could be wrong. There he is.
I don't know.
There he is.
We have lightning, so a little bit of
could have been
a power surge.
Yeah, we've had some nasty weather here today. So, but yeah, I think I like him. I think again, you've got some young guys. Blue mentioned JoJo Trader and Night Carr, Chance Robinson, another kid, a big kid, 6'2", 6'3", another big body receiver that's got a lot of potential. To come in from a prestigious program like St. Thomas and make his name known. He did come in later than the rest. So that, I think, puts him a little bit behind the eight ball. You've also got some guys that are here now that need to prove themselves a little bit, right? You got to have Ray Joseph come in and do some things. You've got to have Jacoby George, you mentioned, right? There's some other receivers that are here. Shamar Kirk is a kid who put on in spring, right? Like he showed out in spring big time. He came in as a transfer portal kid a couple of years ago, and last year didn't get a lot of playing time, but this year he might be a guy out there that Cam Ward is really comfortable with, right? So those are all. I think at the end of the day, Coach Dawson is going to put in who Cam Ward is comfortable with as well, who understands this offense the best. And if it's Shamar Kirk, I'm okay. He showed that he can play a little bit, man. As you mentioned, one of the Washington brothers, what was it Robbie Washington is the wideout? Yeah. Robbie Washington, the wideout. He's another kid that's got elite speed. He can go get it. He's another big kid, right? 6'1", 6'2". Big strong kid that I think he needs to show a little bit as well. You don't have room. I mean, I didn't even mention Michael Redding, who's still on the team. But I think at this
23rd year.
Yeah, he's at this point. Him and McCormick are battling it out for who gets the most degrees
or who gets the Social Security check first.
So Redding graduated. I assumed he was just sticking around through spring ball to get his degree, but
maybe.
No, but I mean, he would have left. He's here. Like I was wrong. I thought
from an academic standpoint, he and Restrepo have the highest.
He was rocking it academically. So I thought, okay, he's not going to transfer in spring because he graduated.
We're gonna call him Dr. Redding soon.
I mean, he graduated in the spring, and I assumed he would leave this summer, but he's still here. So.
No, I think he's doing his residency here at UHealth, and so he might as well play.
Right.
No, look, you got a lot of names. You got a lot of depth. You got a lot of good players, right? I think right now. DJ, I think that your starting three, your XYZ is probably in my mind. I'm going to go Restrepo, George, and Sam Brown. I think those are my top three guys.
Yeah.
Who are you guys? Who are the guys that you're looking at, DJ, that could make an impact here? Maybe not. I mean, we know Restrepo and we know Jacoby George. Who are some of the other guys that maybe you're looking at?
Isaiah Horton.
Isaiah Horton. Yeah, I didn't even mention him, and he had a great spring as well.
One of the guys I'm looking at is Ray, and I know we mentioned him already, but when you look at his dynamic athletic ability in terms of especially what he did at the high school level, he wasn't only a wide receiver. He was able to run routes out of the backfield. He was able to, return kicks both at the high school and here at Miami, like that type of thing. So that versatility and that speed, he showed it a little bit last season. I believe he had over 250 all-purpose yards, and now it's about I want to see him take the next step in his development as a wide receiver because his speed is something you can't teach, and he's a very good football player. Now it's just about continuing to build on it and translating it to the collegiate level, and I'm looking for him to take a really big step this season.
I think we're all excited to see what he's going to do. I totally agree with you on that, man. And to be quite honest with you, there's some guys, Blue, Vish, that are maybe not labeled wide receivers, but you're going to see a lot out there, right? The Chris Johnsons of the world. Maybe you see a Hellcat line up in the slot or something. They're gonna utilize their fastest guys out there to make sure they create mismatches. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see guys like Chris Johnson come in certain packages where they use, kind of like they put 4 or 5 wide receiver set out there, motion him to the slot and use him on a seam route or something crazy like that. I can see that. I can definitely see that happening. So if you had to choose right now, Vish, who are your starting 3 wide receivers?
Yeah, it's definitely Jacoby and X. And then the third one I think will probably be Sam Brown. I think that's my expectation. I will say, just on your previous comment, I think what you're saying is, intellectually true. We've been saying we've had like athletes and they're like, oh, they got to find a way to get them. They just never do.
That's true.
I don't know. Maybe we play too many video games. It's like it's very easy to plug and play, and actual football is more difficult than that. But I feel like, the whole concept of we saw it. I guess, you know what? I will retract that a little bit. Last year with Brashard, I think we finally started finding ways to get him the ball. Prior to that, yeah, well, I mean, he's now, at SMU with everyone else. But I feel like in the past we've had explosive plays like, we just got to find a way to get him the ball. There should be a package. We don't really seem to be a package school.
No.
So I don't know. Chris Johnson's never played here before, so it'd be hard to kind of wedge him in as out of position a little bit. But I'm definitely in agreement with you that hey, he's fast. Get him the damn ball.
I know.
Let's figure that out. Let's figure. There's gotta be
We
a way to get him
saw
ball.
glimpses though. We saw a little bit last year. I think he scored a touchdown on a nice bounce out where he bounced it outside and he just took.
Yeah, he had some good work
But he's
early
the
in the
fastest guy
year.
on the team.
He got a bunch of carries against Temple and
Mhm.
showed out well. Like I mean, but this
Yeah.
is real time again.
Tough.
First game's a real game, so
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Blue, who are your starting three?
I say Sammy Brown at the X, Jacoby Brown at the Z, and most likely, and Restrepo.
Yeah. I think the only thing that's going to stop Jacoby Brown from starting, because he's too good, right? I mean, you saw him, how good he can be, is himself. If he starts eating crap and he, during, I mean, practice starts anytime now, right, Vish? Like when does training camp start?
I think we're a couple of weeks out still. So
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah. 2 weeks out? 2 weeks out, yeah. Then you've got 3 or 4 weeks to get prepared for Florida. If he doesn't come in ready and prepared, it's going to be Isaiah Horton, because Sam Brown's coming in ready to go. Restrepo, the hardest working guy on that team is Xavier Restrepo. That's without a doubt. So those two are going to be set. Guys like JoJo Trader and Ray and all these other guys are chomping at the bit to start or to get significant playing time. So Jacoby messes around and he does what he did at the end of the last season. I think Zay Horton is the guy there, right? He showed that he can come in and he can be productive. So, and he's a big kid, 6'4", 220. He's grown. He's got better. I think he's still going to get a lot of significant playing time either way, but I think that's going to be the biggest question mark for me is, can Jacoby George stay out of his own way?
That's a fair question. That's a fair question.
We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Oh, by the way, before we even go further, Kings had a really nice pickup of one of the best cornerbacks in the country this past weekend in Jabari Antoine. Did I say that right? Jabari Antoine?
Yeah.
Cornerback out of Louisiana.
He stood me up tonight, but that's okay.
Did he really? Not surprising, right?
Off to a great start.
Yeah, right? Jabari Antoine is a big-time cornerback prospect out of Louisiana. Took him from some high-profile schools like LSU and some others in Florida State and whatnot. So really nice pickup for the Canes there. Moves them into like the top 6 or top 7 in recruiting already. And they still got a couple guys that they're going to be looking at soon. So I think keep an eye out on that, because they may be landing a couple more guys when it's all said and done before the season starts. Speaking of before the season starts, and getting some more guys. I think one position that I think Miami is still recruiting hard is the offensive line. However, this year's offensive line group is one that's getting a lot of recognition. You've got a transfer coming in and Zach Carpenter, who's more than likely going to be your starting center. You got some big uglies on the inside in McCoy and Cooper, and maybe even a guy like Samson Okunlola. And then on the outside, you've got potentially he's regarded as one of the best left tackles in the game right now, Jalen Rivers. And then at right tackle, you got your last year's freshman phenom in Francis Mauanoa. So at least that's what I think the starting lineup is going to be. Right now, as it stands right now, it looks like those are going to be your guys. What I don't want to say what concerns me the most, but what the question marks are, who's going to play where, if they need to take a break, or if there, God forbid, is there an injury. You've got some depth now. You've built a little bit of depth, Blue.
Markel Bell. Probably.
Yeah, who are the guys? Yeah, who are the guys that you can kind of see stepping in case?
I think Markel Bell will be a guy probably that could go in to possibly Rivers. You got Tommy Kinsler, who I think is going to be pretty special. Ryan Rodriguez, in case they need, at center. I'm sure Carpenter's going to be, he brings the experience. Louis Cristobal's there, for his final season. Matt McCoy, I think you just mentioned. So I think, I mean, you got, like you said, I think it would be fair to think that Jalen Rivers and Samson Okunlola, Zach Carpenter, obviously at the center spot. Inez Cooper, I would think would be at the right guard, and then Mauano at the right tackle.
So you think Okunlola starts over Matt McCoy at left guard, which I'm okay with also if he's ready to go.
I think Matt McCoy was working at tackle this spring.
It's just going to be hard to put him at tackle right now, considering the guys you have out there, right? So you find a spot for him and bring him inside.
Yeah, I mean, I think Markel Bell would be a good a kid. I watched him, and I think he's ready, for some significant playing time. And Tommy Kinsler's worked extremely hard.
That's my dark horse. I think he's got an opportunity.
Yeah, he's worked really hard, but he'd have to battle for that left guard position with Sampson. So, I mean, so you go 5, you probably go 8, 9 deep during a game. So a lot of these kids are going to all see some playing time.
Right.
It's not like, obviously some, like Georgia has 3 lines. It's like a hockey team.
Yeah.
But
listen, you've got some guys that are developing still. Antonio Tripp, Derek Paz. I think those. Frankie Tinolau. I know he's been battling some injuries, but those are some guys that are still back there too. Yeah, they're still young. They're still learning a lot. Vish, he mentioned it, right? Some of these big time schools have, they're 2.5, 3 deep. Miami's almost there. Miami's probably, I would say, they're 2 deep right now. They've got enough. They've got enough firepower at that offensive line position where they're going to be competitive with their first and their second lines. I think they're good enough to be able to plug in and play some guys. And to be honest with you, I know this is not the popular opinion, but I think Luis Cristobal is a guy. He may not be as athletically gifted as some of these other guys. But he's experienced and he's smart, right? He's a smart kid.
He's been around,
he understands the game.
His uncle played line, so he's been around it.
So I don't think he's going to be as much of a liability as maybe he once was. I think he's gotten better. I think he's gotten a little bit stronger. And I think that from an IQ perspective, it's there. The physical, maybe not so much. He's smaller. He's not as strong. But I think that there's certain things that he can do that could benefit this team. I think that if you play him for a whole game, you're screwed. But I think if
that's
he
not
comes
a good
in,
signal.
No, not at all.
He's in that starting lineup. But you know what? Because I got to run. I just think that you got more, like you said, they got more depth. They're solid in their front line. Their backups are a work in progress. They lack experience, they lack playing time. And before I go, I know that Vish and DJ are going to do the tight ends, but I'll just give you one guy, Elijah Lofton. All right, guys, I gotta run. We'll talk to you next week.
See ya. You got it.
See you,
Vish. Yeah,
I would say we got like 1.5 lines. I don't think you want to go to like the 9th and 10th guys at this point. And I'll also say, look, it's a small sample size. Luis Cristobal is a disaster in the bowl game. I don't look. It was on a baseball field that was muddy. Like, there's all sorts of reasons why that could be, and I don't want to judge him off of one game. But I also don't see how anyone saw him improve. We haven't played since. And
I saw your face, Vish, and I immediately started laughing.
Look, I'm not ripping the kid out because again, it was one game. It's a weird situation. A lot of kids aren't playing the bowl game. It's a mess. The field is a baseball field. You're playing on mud. There's all these reasons why he might have performed poorly and be a much better player. But until I see him play better, I don't have confidence that he should be on the field.
I get it.
With that said, as Jeff said, you're talking about the backups. Like 4 of the starters are locked in for sure.
Yeah.
Really some of the top of the ACC. It's that other position. That 5th one, which might be Sampson. Might be McCoy. Maybe it's Luis if he really works his way up.
Maybe it's Tommy Kinsler.
Kinsler.
It's a good problem to have. I think.
Yeah, it's Tommy Kinsler. It could be Derek Plas. There's guys we could work in there, right? But really, you don't want to go past 6, 7 deep on this line right now, which is fine because there are guys. We talked about McCoy, right? He can play guard and tackle, so you can get away with 6, 7 because you can rotate into multiple positions and still get guys off the field. We're probably still a year or two away from. In fact, not roster wise, Jazz, which is what you were getting at. The 2 deep is their roster wise. Some of these kids are still young.
Yeah.
And so you wouldn't necessarily want to
Markel
play
Bell.
them.
Markel
Markel
Bell's-
Bell, Tinalau
he's-
Plaz, Antonio Tripp. Those guys are not really, you don't want to be starting them this year, but next year, sure. And so those are guys you hope by the end of the year, you're working them in. Because one of the things we haven't had the luxury of doing, we saw this last year too, is, in competitive games, we couldn't rotate. Because the drop off was, I think we're getting to the stage where we can start rotating. So, give this guy it's a competitive game in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Someone needs a blow. Yeah. Get McCoy in there. Right. It's fine. He'll be fine.
Yep.
And that's something we haven't been able to do. So we're getting, I think we're getting closer to there, but I mean, the last game we played, Luis Cristobal was really poor.
Yeah. Nobody played in that game, but I expect them to be.
Well, that's the only time he's really played. So again, it's not fair to him either, because again, it's one game. There was a lot of crap going on there. There was
like half our starters didn't play.
Yeah, exactly. You're plugging someone in with a makeshift line.
Yeah,
it's not the same as if you plug him in right now, you got the four other starters there. His job becomes much easier when you're sitting, when you're playing guard and you're surrounded by. So so it's not fair to him. But based on what I saw last year, that's a different
scary. Story. I totally get it for sure. For sure.
He is not the Joe Bay. He does have high IQ football though, so that is a buckets joke. Joe Bay's family members found us.
Oh no!
Said he has, because we're he kind of needs to. And this is, by the way, this is a tangent, but coming from Coach L, where he's he needs a year or so seasoning. He's not played at this level of basketball, and then we're he needs to learn how to play at this level. I think they found Melissa, but they found this burner account comes in. It's clearly from his family, and it's he's French, so all the same in Spanish, the nouns and verbs are all backwards. So they said no, he has high IQ basket or whatever in that order. So it's become a running joke. So I think it might have been IQ high. I think it might have been IQ high basket, but anyway. So now that is now. So Luis Cristobal has IQ high football, I guess. I don't know how that works.
I'm kind of interested to see how Zach Carpenter gets developed by Alex Mirabal, because Mirabal loves the physical lineman, and Carpenter is a trenches guy. Obviously, he's very physical, coming from the Big Ten, coming from Indiana. So I'm curious to see how Mirabal's coaching improves his play.
That's actually a great point, because last year we brought Matt Lee in as a transfer. He plugged in seamlessly. One of our best offensive line. I think we're all just assuming that Carpenter is going to come in here and plug in, and
he's not as good as Matt Lee was.
No, he's not.
I
think we're assuming. I think in our heads, we got to transfer Big Ten.
He's
kid.
Good, but he's not. He's not Matt Lee good.
No, he's not. And I think that's.
But what helps us is the guys that he has around. Right? The guys that he has around are really good, so that should help. Before I get out of here, Blue kind of stole my thunder with Elijah Lofton, so I'm gonna go with the less obvious, and I'm gonna go Riley Williams. Riley Williams, I think he's got a shot to be productive, but if Elijah Arroyo continues to get hurt, which I would hate for that to happen, cross my fingers it doesn't happen. He's elite, but if he can't be on the field, then who cares how elite you are? So give me the next guy up, which is Riley Williams for me, and then and go from there. We'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oh yeah, tomorrow we got F1, we got baseball, man. There's more commits coming in.
More commits, and
we are getting close to a actual functional team here. So,
and my friend, my good friend, actually is now the new strength and conditioning coach over there for baseball too.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm excited to talk about that. But I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yep. All right.
See you guys.
See you guys.
All right, now we can really get serious and talk about football.
Tight end.
Now that now is your time to shine. So we kind of referenced this. So the last position we want to preview today. So for those of you that did not watch last week, we did quarterbacks and running backs. We just did O-line and wide receivers. So that leaves the tight end position. Also, I think Melissa might hop in to give us a little bit of depth here on the. We're down next man up. We just saying we're going to rotate. She's definitely not Luis Cristobal, but we're rotating her in.
Would be appreciated. I'm exhausted, so
well, she's coming in too. But come on, man, this is
my.
This is your time. You know what? Just why don't you break down the tight end position for us for the University of Miami here?
Well, I feel like the tight end position has a lot of potential, but we really haven't seen it come to kind of fruition for some of the younger guys. Like we talked about a Riley Williams. We talked about, even to some degree because of his health, Elijah Arroyo. So I feel like there's a lot of unknowns here at the tight end position. And then when you couple it with the offensive style that Miami ran last season, they didn't really utilize the tight ends a ton either. So there's a lot of variables in play here. I still think that a guy like Riley Williams is someone that you should watch for, not because of his tremendous production last year, but just as a guy that needs to develop and play at a higher level. We were kind of disappointed. Granted, he was a freshman, but given how he came in with expectations of, being, a fantastic player, we were kind of, waiting for maybe a bigger output, and he still could definitely be a fantastic player. I'm not saying I'm not writing him off yet, but I would love to see him take that next step, especially when he was one of the more highly touted tight ends of his recruiting class a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and remember against Georgia Tech, he had that kind of he had that touchdown. It looked like it was going to be the winning touchdown, but it didn't come into fruition. So Melissa's coming in now, so we're going to let her in, and we'll continue talking tight ends here. Hello, Melissa.
I had just taken a shower. I wasn't expecting to come on, hence why the hood is up, because my hair is wet.
Yeah, and also to advertise her hoodie, go to aboutthefans.com and search Hoodie Girl, and you'll get her collection. Buy hoodies. All right, anyway.
This is how long it's been since we've done buckets. I still got the Florida Panthers cup.
Yeah, it's been a bit. It's been a bit. So the next thing I want to kind of talk about, so we kind of, I think pretty surprised you came back for another year, but man, I'll start with you, Melissa, and then we'll go to DJ. What is Cam McCormick's role on this team? Because we have Elijah Lofton, we have Riley Williams, who are expecting to take a step forward. Arroyo's still the guy there if he's healthy. So where do you see Cam McCormick fitting in?
I think two big things. I think he brings. One is leadership. This is his 9th year playing football, and then second is, he can block. I know he's not the greatest route runner. He's not the greatest with his hands, but he can definitely block. And he's said this in interviews before. Like, he knows he's not going to play at the next level, and he likes playing football, college football. So if he can get that extra year, why not? He's probably getting like his 3rd degree at this point. So listen, UM is a lot of money to go to school there. If you can get free education, why not?
What about DJ? DJ, what are your thoughts on how we work him in? Because he's definitely different from the other tight ends.
Melissa made a good point. He's a very good blocker, and couple that with the fact that we didn't really use the tight ends a ton last year in the passing game. I think you find a role for him right there. He is a veteran presence in the room, and when you look at the young depth that this room has, he is a valuable piece. We joke he's coming. He's a senior citizen, and he's coming back for his 9th year, which he is. But I do think he has a role in the room. He's not going to, win the Mackey Award by any means, but he is a valuable piece to what the Hurricanes try to do, even if it's just blocking. And that's important in of itself.
Yeah, and he might. I think a lot of our players played through injuries last year, but I guess I wonder how many, because obviously we were talking about receivers.
Hi, Gary.
Gary, I haven't seen Gary's name in a while.
Gary hopped on because I hopped on.
Evidently, so I think he's probably lurking quite a bit, but he saw Melissa in here and he came in. But I guess my question is, we talked about receivers at the front, right, and how we have depth there. I don't know that we're going to use nearly as many 2 tight end sets, which to me limits how much McCormick, because I don't really want him on the field instead of Riley Williams or Elijah Arroyo or Elijah Lofton. So I don't know. Maybe, like you said, short yardage blocking situations. I assume he's going to play less this year than last year.
I would think so. Also, like people said in the chat, a bunch of people were injured. Riley Williams got really good experience getting to play as a true freshman. I expect to see him a lot, and he's got good hands. But if Arroyo is healthy, I think he's the guy. We've all seen flashes when he was healthy. If he can stay healthy, I think that's your tight end 1.
I think that's everyone's assumption, but he did come back. It was also Georgia Tech, I believe, where he came back from injury and just wasn't ready yet. He could clearly still hurt, and he was terrible.
He re-injured himself.
He was terrible in that game, and then got hurt again. So we rushed him back.
But it'll be interesting because Lofton, I mean, there's a lot of hype around him and that he could get minutes as a freshman and the different places you could play him at, not just at tight end, but like running back, fullback, something. So, I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, if they stay healthy, our tight end room is pretty stacked, in my opinion.
It's stacked, but it's also unproven. And I still want them to take that next step. And to say it's unproven would kind of be an understatement. But they're good players. I just need to see them put together, a solid, even 4 or 5 games just to know that there is tangible depth there. It's one thing to have depth. It's another thing to have tangible depth. And I do think just from a talent-wise, perspective, the tight end room is stacked, but they need to put it together on the field, especially the younger guys.
And also, you got guys that can do different things too. So assuming they can all stay healthy, you've got tight ends for different situations, which is also quite helpful.
Yeah, the development of the room is going to be important, I think, for the offense. Not that, like I said, we didn't use the tight ends a ton last year, but I do think they bring value in terms of just pass catching and their athleticism and their ability to play like wide receivers at times, because they're not slow tight ends. They can move. So I'll be interested to see how the development of the room overall kind of contributes to the offense and if those guys can take the next step.
I also don't think we use tight ends a lot because of the personnel that we had. I mean, Riley Williams did play a bunch, and I think he's got a lot of potential, but I don't know how much you're trusting a true freshman in the passing game that quickly. McCormick's not really the pass-catching tight end, and he's the guy that played a lot because everybody else was injured. So I don't think we use tight ends, not because we didn't want to, but because we didn't necessarily have that option that often. But
well, that's another unknown, right? Because it was Dawson's first year as the offensive coordinator. We don't know how much he wants to even use the tight ends. We know Mario wants to power football. We don't know what Dawson wants to do with the tight ends. And as DJ said, they're unproven, but 3 of them are unproven. One of them is extra proven, but you kind of know what he is. I don't expect Cam McCormick to be anything different than what we've seen, which is a really good college football player.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing. It's just he's very.
But what you're getting from him. You know his ceiling.
And you kind of expect him to be there and be reliable. It's the rest of them though. Could be good.
Well, I mean, you got to think they have a plan to use them, because you're not going to recruit a guy like Elijah Lofton to the school if you're not planning to use him in some way, shape, or form, or keep Riley Williams there, who I think has a bright future. So hopefully there is a plan there.
I honestly see Lofton coming, potentially out of the backfield. And I know we have a lot of depth at running back, but as we saw, that depth can go quickly. So I think if the tight ends can really sort of, kind of emerge and develop, I think that affords them the ability to put Lofton somewhere like in the backfield.
Lofton's one of those guys who's an athlete where you kind of just want to get him on the field some way. Obviously tight end's his natural position, so that's where you want to see him. But if Arroyo's doing his thing, or Williams or whoever it is doing his thing also, and there's just not enough reps to get him at tight end his freshman year. Maybe you line him up in the backfield, or you line him up as a receiver. I don't know. I mean, he's a true freshman, so we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of potential there. But again, like DJ said, it's unproven. So we'll see.
And honestly, it comes down to the injuries too. I mean, all this depth sounds good on paper, but you could have guys missing, hopefully not, but you could have guys out by the middle of September. So then it opens up opportunities for others as well.
Yeah, and just to fresh this comment, it's not that they necessarily won't get the ball, it's that there's one ball. So we start talking about, the third tight end is probably not getting targets. The second tight end might not get targets. Depends on how, formationally we're playing. If we're running 3 and 4 wide out there.
And this wide receiver room is pretty good.
Right. And so, I mean, how many targets are there really to go around to the tight end? It's not that they don't get the ball. It's that, unless you're running a lot of 2 tight end stuff, backup tight end's not going to get the ball a lot.
And it's also something you can't predict when you recruit either. It's like you try to sign the best tight ends available because you're not sure if you're going to get 3 good receivers. You may only get 1 good receiver per class, and then your deficiency will be at wide receiver. And it's something where you take the best player available, and don't settle with the fact that you took the best player. Settle, try to get as many good kids as possible, and then work out, where they fit in terms of scheme.
You got to see who steps up and takes that tight end one spot. I think
it's Arroyo's to lose unless he gets hurt again.
Which unfortunately is a possibility, and I'm not making a joke of that. But the tight end position, is susceptible to injuries. I just remember, being a team manager, watching my practices, and tight ends would always get hurt because they're big guys who aren't supposed to move like they move, and so that would be a position susceptible to injury. And unfortunately, that's just the nature of the game.
Yeah, and
a two tight end set. We have the athletes to do it. You could put like Arroyo on one side or Williams or Lofton on the other side, and they could definitely be threats. But how much of Dawson's playbook did we see last year with the lack of QB that we had? You have a whole different playmaker in the backfield now. So there might be some new things we haven't seen yet or that are already in the playbook that Dawson didn't use, or there might be new things that he designs because now we've got somebody different throwing the ball and the health of players too. So, it could look like year one all over again where we're seeing brand new things from Dawson, which I hope we do because, that's how we're going to succeed. So.
Yeah. And you also have oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go for it.
I was going to say, you also have a quarterback that can elevate the players around him, and that makes a big difference too in terms of play calling because that affords you the ability to, try maybe some of the tougher plays, try some more of the riskier plays because you have a quarterback that can make smart decisions. And, as much as it's up to the receivers and the tight ends to make the plays, it's also good to have a quarterback who can elevate and work to those players' strengths as well.
And you also got, it's not just the quarterback, but you've got talent all around him. On paper, arguably, this is one of the best teams we've had in a really long time. Again, on paper, just talent-wise. Yeah. You guys were talking about who was starting at wide receiver, and the fact that we're even having a discussion about who the starters are going to be because there's so much talent is a good thing. You bring in a guy like Damian Martinez alongside with Mark Fletcher, assuming he's healthy, and some of the younger guys in the running back room, A.J. Allen included. There's a lot of talent in the run game, the receivers, the tight ends. So, there's a lot of different things you can do. And when you've got all that talent on the field, the tight end may get some looks because you can't guard everybody. So,
yeah, just the thing, like when we say play two tight ends, keep in mind you're talking about pretty regressive in terms of offense because that's the equivalent of running it out there in an I formation type of stuff. That's too wide running back, and then instead of a fullback, you have an extra tight end. Like that is turn of the century shit. So we will probably do it at times, but I can't imagine that's any kind of a base.
Or you line up one of the tight ends as a receiver.
Yeah,
that's still again. Or do you? Okay, so that would presumably not be flanked out wide, be in the slot instead of X. I'm not doing that. So I think, yeah, I think. Well, as much as these kids are talented, we want to get them on the field. It's a trade-off, and I don't know that anyone wants to see a bunch of two tight end sets consistently. It's just not.
Hey, as long as we win football games, I don't care if we see the I formation.
Well, you also got to remember, obviously, McCormick's going to be mostly blocking, but Williams is only 1 year in. Lofton's going to be a true freshman. These guys have time; they're going to develop. So you may not see them as much as first. I don't even. What year is Arroyo in? Did he redshirt? I wasn't prepared to come talk tight ends. This is like last second.
He's a junior.
He's a redshirt junior.
Yeah. Okay, so there's time. Just because Lofton doesn't see the field a lot as a true freshman, that's not like, oh my God, we're never going to use him. So we can't overreact quite yet. They're young. It's pretty. I know McCormick, ups the age mean in the room, but a bunch of them are still young.
Ups the age mean. I like that phrase.
Yeah, and,
I don't know.
And Arroyo did play a decent amount his first year. Of course,
he did.
Will Mallory was the starter, so it was again. It's not. He's never been the guy, so this is his chance to do that. But now, natural progression. He's been here a couple of years. Yeah, he's gotten hurt, but this is his time to kind of step up into that role. So I'm excited to see that. I think he's got that ability, and then I think he'll take the majority of the snaps there, and that's who you want. He's your best player.
And I also think if he's efficient at blocking as well, you're going to see him even more on the field because of the fact that he's a better pass catcher and route runner than McCormick. So if he can block as efficiently or close to efficiently as McCormick, then you might see him more.
Yeah, I think for someone, if you look at someone that might get crowded out of the rotation, it's probably McCormick. If these other guys can prove that they can block, and really, be used in run situations, then they do provide something else as receivers that he doesn't. So, but if they prove they cannot do that, and you really need his blocking, then he'll play a lot because again, Mario's going to want to play physical. You want that first game of the year going into Gainesville, you want to push them around.
Which is what I think, and we talked about this earlier, which is that's what I think Zach Carpenter, for example, can bring to the table as an offensive lineman. Somebody in the trenches who can, block for the running backs and, has experience at Indiana, so he knows kind of, the ins and outs of major college football. And, you want to put your quarterback in the best position to succeed. And Miami's done that with the wide receivers, the running backs, the offensive line. They were able to build around Cam Ward, and Cam Ward in his own right will help the program, but it's been really interesting to watch them kind of fit the puzzle pieces together and try to, put this roster together in a way that makes sense for everybody.
Oh, where's Blue?
Yeah, I mean, all I'll say about this is you can always get people back.
I would never count the loafers out when it comes to recruiting. Just because somebody's committed somewhere else in the summer means absolutely nothing until December.
Plus cash plays. So
with that being said, Ohio State has a ton of cash and is on a roll, so it might be tough.
We also have cash, so just if you really want someone, you can buy them. I mean, that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
You can always just be like, what are they paying you? I'll double it. They'll show up on campus.
Yeah.
But it's all about.
And that's not even a joke anymore. It used to be, but now
you're gonna show it. Look, what is your offer right now? Yeah, we'll double that.
Yeah.
If you can. Yeah. It's always a way through. Now, is that worth it on a play-by-play basis? Probably not. You're gonna use a lot of money there.
The loafers are Gucci now.
Wow, I'm not touching that. So we did talk. Well, before you joined us, I think you were probably watching. At least
I was in and out of the show.
Yeah, so we did. So who are your the same question Jazz asked all of us. Who are your starting receivers?
X, obviously. I mean, that's your leading receiver from last year, and I think he's gonna do even more this year just because of the talent we have at QB now. Jacoby George, assuming he's on the straight and narrow, I think he can get even better. And then the real question is, I mean, you assume Sam Brown's coming in, and with his experience, he's going to start. But you hear so many things this offseason about Horton. So it should be interesting. But I think the four of them you're going to see a lot. But I would assume right now it's Brown, George, and Restrepo.
I think that's
I would say that too, because you have three veterans, so to speak, at the wide receiver position. You have an experienced quarterback. You have three veteran wide receivers, and it puts you in the best position to win right now. And that's something I think Miami needs to do heading into year 3 of Mario Cristobal.
Well, I think the fact that we recruited Cam Ward and it's his last year, I think this is Mario's best opportunity to win, and the fan base kind of has high expectations. You don't bring a guy like that in for 1 year and be like, all right, let's win 8 games. Like I think the expectation is to compete for the ACC championship and to make the college football playoff. Now, do I think we're going to do that? I don't know. If you guys invite me onto the prediction show, I'll let you know then.
Yeah. We'll let you in. But
I'll say right now, I don't.
That's the majority of the expectation from the fan base.
Well, this is a good transition though, because the ACC media kickoff is going on right now. The football kickoff. It's all week in Charlotte, and coming out of that, we'll get the predictions for who the media. Again, these are not us. These are not Miami fans. These are the Assemble media. I would be shocked if we're not first or second in a majority of these in terms of winning the ACC.
We should be, yeah.
So we can talk about our expectations. These are realistic expectations, and Hey, you got to meet the moment. We can't constantly fall back on the we always blow it type of shit. Like at some point.
Yeah. Who is it? Josh Pate had us losing to FSU in the ACC championship and being the 7th seed in the college football playoff. That was his prediction.
I mean, there's a first of all, whoever wins the ACC is going to get a bye and be a top 4 team because that's
what I'm saying. He has us losing.
No. I know. I understood what you said, but my point is like if you win this conference now, which is something we realistically say should be possible any year. You're basically automatically going to get a top 4 seed and a bye in the playoffs because it does go to the 4 highest conference winners, and with the Pac-12 dead now, that basically means the 4 power conferences. So, yeah, I mean, whatever's left of it is not a power conference. So what you've ended up with is essentially if you win, the winners of the Big 10, Big 12, SEC, and ACC are going to get those 4 spots. So that's a very attainable prize. And to Melissa's point, which was calling out Josh Pate's prediction, like there's 12 teams. That's only 4 of them. There's 8 other teams. Only so many are going to be able to go to the SEC and the Big 10. You can add another 3 to each, right? Which means
honestly, from the ACC, it's probably just going to be assuming both teams head into like the ACC championship game with like 1 loss or no losses.
Well, this is the thing.
You can't assume that a 3rd team is going to get in because
it'll be at least 2 though.
Yeah,
is my point. So I mean, last year that would have been Louisville. Like this is there, and so to Melissa's point, you went and got Cam Ward. There's really no. I mean, we're constantly being, I think a lot of times people say Miami fans say this, man, it's not us.
It's the media.
But in this case, I'll flat out say it. If this team doesn't make the playoffs, it's going to be disappointing.
Yeah, there's no excuses.
It's an open system. We're in a conference that's very winnable. Yep. And even finishing 2nd should get you in the playoffs. Finishing 3rd might get you in the playoffs.
And looking at this... Go ahead.
Yeah, No, go for it.
Looking at the schedule, I mean, the only really difficult stretch is the one in October where we have Louisville and Florida State back-to-back. I mean, Virginia Tech is always a tough game, and then Duke after the Florida State game. So, to me, if they were to win anything big or go to the college football playoff or go to the ACC championship game, this would be a prime year to do it.
Yeah, no, SMU is not a dog horse for anything. They're not going to make a bowl game.
I don't think so. I mean,
he had 8 sacks or more in the AAC. What conference was? SMU?
Yeah, no, they were in the AAC last year. They are going to look as much as like we feel that as Miami we should be able to handle the ACC. It is a good football. I mean, it's a good football conference, right? We haven't been anywhere close to our best. Like our best teams would have walked this conference, of course, but there's still a lot of good football teams in there. SMU is not in that league, and they're going to find that out. That's just the reality.
It's going to be. I mean, obviously they have a few former Canes on there, so I mean,
yes, they have discards
and all that, but it's still a step up from with the. I mean, I wish them all well, the former Canes, but when they play us, it's more.
I mean, look, I keep it real here. I don't give a shit. Like. They're gone. I don't care if they do well. I don't want them to get injured. I never want anyone to get injured or have like that kind of thing. But do I care if they do well or not? Because they used to be here. No.
And quite honestly, we do a pretty good job of beating ourselves once or twice a season. So there is that too.
Well, it's more like 3 or 4 times a season. Me and Vish witnessed a few of those games together in person.
Were you at the Virginia game where there was only field goals, Melissa?
We were at Georgia Tech together. We were at UNC together. So.
Yeah, no, that Virginia game was 2 years ago. I will say, SMU won whatever it was last year, 10 games, and they go to the bowl game, and Boston College just dominates them. And I think that is the change in level of team that they're going to have to deal with. Like Boston College is, a mid-tier ACC team, and SMU was one of the best teams in the AAC. Didn't play a lot of competitive games because they were dominant, and then they ran into Boston College, and it's like, oh.
It was definitely a Boston College favorite game at Fenway Park, freezing in the middle of December.
Yeah, but the thing coming out of that game was the physicality.
No, yeah, Boston College.
But that's normal. Like again, we like to shit on the ACC, but like there is a different physical toll it takes playing in a big conference.
Yeah, no, there is,
and this is now.
Oh man, if you only knew.
I feel like we've won something.
Football games.
Oh shit.
That we saw together. There's
Miami, Ohio. I think we sat together.
Miami, Ohio.
We've been in the stadium, but not.
Yeah, no, but not together though. I think Miami, Ohio was the only game we were sitting next to each other. That's
true.
Because A&M, we were both in the stadium, but I wasn't sitting.
Yeah, and same thing with Clemson. Yeah.
And Clemson. Clemson, I was with Coop.
Yeah.
Good times.
But
yeah.
You know what? Are going to have to come up to BC one of these days. And
I mean, we were going to last year, but it was Thanksgiving weekend.
Go to the BC game, but it was Thanksgiving weekend, and my mom would absolutely kill me if I missed Thanksgiving with her.
I mean, this is a tough traveling weekend.
Fresh, I agree with you. I would like us to win all of the games. Yes.
I mean, but again, this is a navigable schedule.
This is a relatively easy.
In theory, on paper.
But I know people are going to come back to this in December when we're doing our coverage of the Motor City Bowl and saying that we all predicted that this would be an easy schedule.
I'm not accepting this. I'm not accepting this negativity and this fatalism. We are going to be good this year.
Vish literally gives me a hard time because I'm worried about the game at Florida, and he's always like. He's like, no, we're gonna kick the crap out of them, and I'm like, I don't think you understand. I'm prepared for disappointment.
I'm very worried about the game at Florida.
Look. Here's what I'll say about this. They are terrible.
So was Middle Tennessee State, Vish. I don't want to hear it.
Yes, and so no, you actually proved my point.
And Virginia.
They are terrible. We won that Virginia game 12-10. I was there.
Barely.
14-12. But
Jake Garcia is playing at Eastern Carolina.
That dude, I still can't believe he didn't throw the ball. I almost when that thing opened up, and I'm like,
"He's there." It was Brantley, right? It was Khalil Brantley.
Yeah, I was like, "Throw the touchdown!" Oh my god, he didn't throw it. Then he like barely got to the pylon. I'm like, I swear to God, I have to even more so than like means we have to like we didn't win. It would have gone to more. I'm like, I can't watch more of this. You almost made me watch more of this. That's unforgivable. But no, my point is this: look, Florida is going to win 3 or 4 games. They're not going to make a bowl game.
Fresh is correct.
So I'm not saying we can't lose to them. I'm saying if we lose to them, it's because we suck. It's not because of them. Like they're not going to all of a sudden be good. They're terrible. So same
either
way. Well, the same thing in Middle Tennessee, right? Because we lost that A&M game in College Station, and then we come back to play Middle Tennessee, and we're all like, oh yeah, we're going to win this game. You know, get over the hangover from that. And we lose. We got blown out. We're like, it wasn't because they were good. They weren't good either. We ended up being 5-7. We were terrible. So,
but again, it goes back to the fact that we do a really good job of beating ourselves.
Yeah, well, I'm not accepting that.
DJ, we're on the same wavelength.
That's fine. You can all be on the same wavelength.
I need a fan above me.
This year, we kneel the ball. We kneel the ball.
I will just say, so I was sitting next to Vish for the Georgia Tech game.
Oh my God.
On first down, he's like, why the fuck are we not kneeling the ball?
Oh, it started
before that. The fumble happened on third down. But for 3 plays, Vish was screaming, kneel, take a knee.
Oh, no, it's before that. Again, like this, but this is why, look, I don't believe in fatalism. We're the karma gods are going to smile back on us this time because this is what transpired. If you recall, we got the first down. They then reviewed it, moved it back. If they don't do that, we don't even end up in a kneel situation, and all of this crap doesn't happen because we do need to run the ball then. So this only happens because they moved the ball back. They took away our first down, even though there was no evidence they should have done that. And that's when it started, actually, Melissa, because I'm like, oh, they're cheating because they want Georgia Tech to get the ball back, so they made third down. But
Vish had his crystal ball.
Yeah, no, I was like, if we can get a yard, we can just kneel it.
And so that fumble happened, and I was DMing with an FSU fan. We always talk football, and he's like, what are you guys doing? And I'm like, we're about to lose this game because we're going to give up some long-ass touchdown. And then what happens, like, on the next play? And then I just get a string of laughing faces in my DM.
By the way, did not fumble. They can fuck off. That guy, Chaney, was lying flat on the goddamn ground. Like, that whole thing.
Listen, the GT FSU game in Ireland is gonna be fun to watch. But I expect FSU to win that game.
Is that week 0 or is that?
That's week 0. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. They always do a game in Ireland. It seems like week 0.
If FSU loses, we have to do a football show.
I mean, Melissa, we do a football show. You're a guest on it right now, but
No, but not wait till Monday. Like do it like right after the game.
like on a random Saturday. It's week 0, man. It's like August 25th or some shit.
I'll probably be drunk.
Listen,
I don't
if they were to beat FSU, we have to enjoy it because if we lose to Florida in week 1,
Hey, this is the type of shit that's not happening. We gotta stop this. Stop the defeatism.
I'm a pessimist, man. I have no expectations.
Look,
You're a realist.
I agreed with Blue and Danny last year when they said 75. All
I
right,
don't care.
I was right there with them.
Because I was right in spirit because we should have nailed the ball and then you all would have been wrong. So kiss my ass on that.
But what
And
did
you
the
should
final
have
record say,
let me
Mitch?
cancel our trip to North Carolina. After the 4-hour flight delay that I experienced, it was an omen. I should have stayed home.
4-hour flight delay. Wow. Damn.
3 different planes and a 4-hour flight delay, and I finally made it. And then all we got was disgusting cookout chicken.
I mean, I told you Waffle House is also open.
Well, I thought the chicken would be good because their milkshakes are insanely good, but it was like the most bland nuggets ever.
Cookout is ass. We should have found like a BK. But anyway, we're not playing North Carolina this year. No, but the one thing I'll say is like we sit here and we wear all these shirts that say like, "You invented swagger," and then when the ball is going to get kicked off, we all shrivel up like a bunch of bitches. You know what?
I wear
We're not
hoodies
doing
with my
that.
face on it. Okay,
That's really not your face, though. The eye color's wrong. But anyway,
it's a cooler version of my face.
let's not go down.
Oh wait. Let's see. Oh, that's your merch.
That's my logo.
That is one of the hoodies.
My hoodie girl hoodie. My hoodie girl logo hoodie. About the fans.com. Search hoodie girl collection.
Yeah, there's four of them. But like I am gonna reject this negativity that we're gonna screw up. Something. No, we're gonna go out there. We're gonna win. Enough with this crap. We spend we spend all the time where we're all of them are like, oh yeah, no, we're the year, and then the second the ball's about to kick off, we're like, oh, do we even know how to play football? What's like we got all that shit needs to stop.
Who's we? It's mostly the fans. I mean,
no, I am counting myself in this. We are not going to be negative this time. We're going to win football games. We know how to play football. We've been building this moment. We're going to go into Gainesville and push their shit in, and then we're going to roll this season.
If Fresh is referring to my hoodie, yes, you should love it. Aboutthefans.com. Hoodie Gold Collection. Okay. Sorry.
This is why
you bring me on and we go buckets tangent. This is what happens.
I know. Well,
we haven't done a show. We haven't done a show in like 2.5 weeks. So I'm itching.
This is not a buckets tangent. This is just you shilling merchandise in the middle of my show here.
Yeah. Listen, it's a fresh audience, man.
That's true. Anyway, the tangent went off on its scheduled talk.
Yeah.
But, anyway, so we are done previewing the offense.
Should we do record predictions or should we wait for
No, we're gonna do a prediction show closer. So just to outline kind of next few weeks.
Hard to have swag when your team is going 5-7 and 6-7, and I.
But it's easy to have swag if you rep one of my hoodies.
Okay.
So just
I need something too. I need my own clothing line so I can plug to shamelessly.
Okay. So yes, but at some point you have to believe in yourself and have confidence. You're always going to go 5-7 and 6-7.
You guys, people in the chat. This is what you have to realize. When Vish went to undergrad at Miami, he was there during the 01 championship and what should have been the 02 championship, and he was there during the baseball championship. So you have to understand he's used to winning.
And Vish,
I started there in 04, the downfall.
Look, I had it better than you did, but all of that shit was in regular def. There wasn't even high def yet. So we're not talking about that. I'm just saying, if you're going to show up to games expecting to fuck up and lose, you're going to fuck up and lose.
I was 6 when Miami won the 01 national championship. Miami hasn't had that swagger in my lifetime.
It's not about. It's not. I'm
Yeah.
well aware, especially
We're
if
old
you.
fish.
I've aged in the last year more than a year. If you look at the color of my beard in the intro,
Haven't we
it's
all
like now,
though? I mean, haven't we all to some degree?
I feel like Tyler Van Dyke killed me because when our North Carolina picks at that game, my beard was still black. It just felt like mostly gray. But no, but it's not about necessarily having swagger. It's this defeatism. How are we going to screw this up? What's going to go wrong? You got to get out of that mindset. Stop
It's
worrying
hard
about
when
how
it's
you're going
been 20 plus years.
Yeah, but you got to stop worrying about how you're going to screw up and start thinking about how you're going to win the game.
I'll tell that to the players and coaching staff on the field.
If you don't think,
It's very
no.
easy. You do the math, and you realize that there isn't enough time left for the other team to get the ball back. You can't get
look.
That's how you win the game.
But that's not the only thing, right? Like that was one game which was insane, and also multiple ref errors. But the Louisville game with the defenders running into each other, right?
Or how about calling a
winning
safety
touchdown.
when it's actually a safety?
Yeah, but none of those lost us a game, right? And so I think.
But it has to do with momentum.
Right, but we didn't lose any games because of that. Where we lost games, I couldn't get in from the 3-yard line against NC State, right? Couldn't get a stop in the
ball at the goal line against UNC.
Right, and also couldn't get a stop at the end when the offense was scoring and they kept driving. If we just gotten some 3 and outs in the fourth quarter against UNC, we probably would have won that game.
Louisville, I knew it was a bad omen when someone took a dump in the middle of the ladies' restroom.
Okay, let's not go there again. But anyway, no, but like it's making those winning plays that we need to.
What the hell?
I'm not even like touching that. Literally and figuratively. But no, I mean it's like swagger is kind of it's a contrived thing, right? But there is a trusting your abilities and actually going out there and executing. And this comes from the fans too. Because when you're in that game, you can feel it in the stadium. When all the fan thinks you're gonna fuck up, like you could have felt that Georgia Tech thing. You could feel coming a mile away because we didn't kneel it. The whole time, well, actually, everyone around me is like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm Indian. I can do math. We can kneel the ball." Because you don't have the commentary, so you're
904 Hurricanes comment. SEC ref officiating. Is it gonna be SEC officiating though?
It's usually the road team brings the ref, so it should be ACC, but I'm not sure. Usually the road team brings the refs.
Yeah, that's
it doesn't matter. We're gonna beat the shit out of them. I'm tired of this negativity.
Well,
who's with me?
I'm watching the game at Vish's. Is that your sister's hosting the party? I don't even know.
Yeah. Oh god, I gotta get a new TV. I gotta do that one down there.
I'm not with you yet, but I appreciate your optimism.
You should come down Labor Day weekend.
DJ, I'm hoping for a win. I'm not confident about it though.
Look, do we believe or not? Do we believe in this program?
No, not yet.
It's been 20 plus years. I will believe as I see more wins.
Okay. Yeah, but that's
like the
me and Melissa seem to be on the same page.
That's not leading, that's following. I'm gonna lead here. We're gonna be good this year. We're gonna win the games we should win. We're
me and DJ are co-leading and we need to see it on the field stance.
Yep. Especially year 3.
Yeah, I don't need to see shit. We're gonna go out. I'm going to see it, but it's going to happen.
DJ, I'm gonna need you to come on the show in one of my hoodies in the next few weeks. So
okay.
He's actually he is one of the few people in a location where you can wear a hoodie comfortably.
Yeah,
I wore a hoodie and the 100-degree heat advisory a couple of days ago too.
Although actually not right now because it's been like.
Oh no, it is freaking god awful, man. The whole country feels like Miami.
Yeah. No, it's been like 4 weeks of just straight 90-degree weather every single day. Even when it's raining, it's 90 degrees and it doesn't cool it off. So it's like, okay, what the hell?
No, I went to a Canes Connections basketball player signing at the team store. And I was like, I'm going to wear my Hoops hoodie from the Hoodie Grow collection because I'm going to try and make a sale, even though there was a heat advisory. So I was sweating balls, but someone saw my hoodie and was like, hey, where did you get that? I'm like, let me show you. And I made a sale. So it worked.
That's awesome. I'll probably have to get one of those hoodies during the winter though, because
right now aboutthefan.com and search for Hoodie Girl, and there's that one. There's that one and 3 others.
Appreciate you, Fresh.
All right, I think we're done.
Yeah, Hoodie Mom is waiting for me to call her.
You want to try and sell something else? Anything else you're trying to hawk over here, Melissa? While we're
No. Did you know the Stanley Cup champions are the Florida Panthers?
You know what? You can't go after my guy DJ like that. That's not cool.
Oh no, I mean the Celtics won the NBA championship, so I'm good.
All right, so thanks for joining us this week.
Vish has all the power.
You're a Mavericks fan. I forgot about that. I forgot about that for a second.
Yeah, you forgot.
He just kicked us off the stream.
Anyway, so we will be as I just to lay out kind of the rest of the summer schedule. So we're going to start defense next week. We'll probably do front seven. Then the week after that, we'll do secondary, then specialists, then preview the season. That's where we'll get the predictions, and then preview Florida because there's that many shows left to the.
I know.
So it is coming up. So yeah, we're done with offense. We'll do some defense the next couple of weeks, and then
I might crash the prediction show if I'm off.
Yeah, no, we'll either way, we'll slide you in somewhere to do some predictions.
I work every other Monday night, so
we'll figure that out.
It would have to be. I don't even know. In like 3 weeks.
We'll figure it out. We'll get you on for one of the shows to do your predictions. That way we can have you on record as being overly negative. And then when I am right, you will all hear it.
But if you're looking for some basketball talk, tune into Buckets Wednesday night.
Yeah. I'm about to do this. So I do know what I'm doing. Believe it or not, we run the show without you.
I'm promoting for my show.
I know, which I was going to do because I was going to lay out the rest of the schedule for the week. So tomorrow,
and you're also promoting a hoodie. Anyway,
we got the F1 show followed by baseball. Kane's got a couple more commits. Things looking up for the baseball, and also got some of their high school players that we thought were going to go in the draft coming to school. So, be a couple of weeks for the Canes. We'll do that. We'll do that Wednesday, 10 p.m. Melissa, what is Wednesday at 10 p.m.?
Buckets. If you want to, I don't even know what we're going to talk about because nothing has happened in the world of hoops for basketball. But Jordan Miller is on the Summer League All First Team, so yay! But
actually, the women did get a commit last week, so. Yeah,
I was trying to get her on the show, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll be talking hoops on Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Me, Vish, and Matt.
Yep. So next 2 nights, join 5 Reasons Sports. We'll be talking about something. Matt, Melissa, Danny.
If that isn't a way to sell the network, then I don't know what is.
Hey, we're always here for you when you need us or when you don't.
Are we queuing the Sox outro, or is that only for?
No, we do not cue the Sox outro. And unfortunately, Blue left before he could do his thing, so we're.
He usually does show and tell, right?
Yeah, but show and tell.
I missed.
Well, here's today's show and tell.
That's a good show and tell.
Thanks, DJ. Thanks for hopping in, Melissa. We'll see y'all next week.
The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Kane Show. You know.